Kakum nukum sujapum tiimas. Kiita maluut tiimanin kinki väätäspa. Kakawa henasmuna oikaloma tituatit jääjä. Kalanih puneka kanit katimanit. Ka imamuhu kaika. Hinoktia natso ohna. Kakawa sao hipautaya. Kawako kika tikhne pats winaisa. Kima titwatit jääjä. Kiita malu tiutaya. Ka tsalawi anasta tolayo oikaloma. Kakawa henasta tolasam.
That's Mewi, Oikalo Himyuma Kalatiwama, Inam Waswanik Titokatim Tui Okpu. My name is Shannon Wheeler. I serve as the chairman for the Nez Perce tribe. Katsiyat ya Nunyam Haniwat, Kiata Awatis, Sun Valley, so Yakatski Lahi and Haniwat. Wako Payatsa Tachtamina Namipu. I come to you today with an open heart to share with you the words of our people and as you've seen in the opening clip there, our relationship to the land itself and what our obligation is. And also like to thank the Creator for this beautiful land where we're at today, and also thank Him for the beautiful day. And all of you, Oikalohim Yuma Kalatiwama, our relatives and our friends that we continue to meet with all over the place and all over the world. And I think these types of relationships and these types of rooms like this are a good opportunity for us to share with you the knowledge that we have, but also the commitment that we have and the understanding that we have of the relationship with the United States of America and our sovereign, the Nez Perce tribe. And so with that, just to open, we started with the clip so that we could, I'm going to take my glasses off here so I can focus a little bit better. But, the thing with the clip is that it speaks to the relationship that we have. And there's this ancient relationship that we have to the land, what we call Tamal was said in there. It's the laws that were written upon the land before we were here. And as we come onto this earth, we understood that these laws that the land already has is the relationship that we must be in with the land to truly understand and to care for the land. And so it's with that basis is why we do the things that we do. We honor our foods. We know that our foods we're equal to them. We're not above our foods, we're the same as, because we're from the land. And I felt that it was important to share this portion of the clip from the Covenant of the Salmon people to lay the context for the conversation that we're having today. And I think the thing that most stands out is that, to be able to understand who we are as people and what that deeper relationship is to the land. And when we think about that and how do we secure that relationship through practice of everyday activities, our seasonal activities that we must take part in, whether it's gathering, whether it's fishing, whether it's places where songs are made or where prayers take place. Those are all different places and times where you have to be at a certain place at a certain time in order to interact with the land. And, propagation of seeds that happen when our root diggers are out digging roots and they're aerating the land and spreading the seed around, and that continues for these areas to grow. if we're not in the ground doing that type of work, then the the relationship to the land is what was said in the clip, is that they will forget about us, and they will go away. And these are the things that we have in our creation stories. And Native people are really pragmatic people. You know, we do things for purpose. Our place names are for purpose. You know, we don't name them after, wouldn't name nothing after me. You know, we'd name something after the purpose of what that place actually produces, like Hatoto Hitspa, the South Fork of the Salmon River. It provides wild tobacco there for us, and so we know that it's prevalent there, and so we name it for its purpose. And so that's the accounting for of the land that we take. And so the deep understanding of what that actually is to the United States of America, and the relationship that the Nez Perce have with the United States through the treaty making process, which all of you are a part of. If you're a citizen of the United States of America, well, you're part of the treaty. And part of the treaty, a specific article in our treaty is Article 3, that gives us the right for usual and accustomed areas to hunt, gather, and fish, and to continue this relationship with the land. And you know, treaty rights are narrow. They're narrow here. They're specific, but the treaty reserved rights that broaden out under a larger portion of what's reserved for those activities that we have are captured in Article 3. So the United States is responsible for upholding this relationship that we have, this older relationship that we have with the land, but the relationship that we have between two sovereigns. And that's what we bargained for. The United States bargained for that on the behalf of the people of the United States of America. So when we think about that relationship and what we can do today for things like salmon, or, you know, there's a lot of other issues out there, you know, the plastics that are flooding our waters, our seas, our lands, and, you know, the things that we care about and are on the decline. You know, we're able to speak up. You're able to write your congressional leaders and say, we have these concerns, but you also have an obligation to the treaty as well. And you can say that, well, what about the treaties that we signed with the first peoples of this land, with the Nez Perce, for instance, in our case, under their Article 3, they have these certain rights and responsibilities, and what they carried to the treaty was these unwritten laws that speak to the land and that relationship. So that's how the relationship is. And under statutory authorities that were put together by Congress to develop the Department of Interior, NOAA, Department of Commerce, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, all of those statutory authorities are put in place to manage the resources of this world, or we like to call them life sources, to ensure that they're sustainably being used and utilized. And I think that's really where the opportunities for this relationship to really work. And so as a tribal nation, we work with Bonneville Power Administration, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Department of Commerce, NOAA, and we let them know what our science says. We let them know what our interpretation of the treaty is. And as we look at that relationship, how and where are we obligated at? Well, it's in the Constitution under Article 6, Clause 2, the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, and we're all subject to the rule of law. And I think that's what's truly important for us, is that, you know, we all take an oath. We take an oath to the U.S. Constitution. We take an oath to the Nez Perce Tribal Constitution, and I think that's what's important for everyone to be able to speak to and understand, that this is what is the glue and the fabric of what a great nation is, what this republic actually is, and our sovereign partner. So we're here to help. we're here to help them carry the message. We're here to help find solutions for the issues, or we're here to recognize the issues that are out there and be able to say to the United States in this obverse relationship between two sovereigns, and we'd look at it as a coin, for instance, one side the United States, on the other side the Nez Perce, minted together under mutual agreement for mutual benefit of what was bargained for and what was promised, our relationship to the land, of what we owe the land, and all that it brings and gives to us, and that relationship that is to our spiritual being and to our cultural makeup of who we are as Nez Perce. But the other things that we recognize about us now is that the change of that environment has changed us. You know, the relationship, being able to go out and do these things, because physically we've changed. We have high rates of heart disease, we have kidney disease, diabetes, and other diseases that we face because of the lack of interaction that we've had. And over the course of time, one of the things that we're trying to do is rebuild that relationship with the land, and hold on to that culture and that spiritual, and develop that spiritual well-being once again, so that our people are healthy, our people are who we should be. And you know, we definitely need the help of the United States of America, its citizens of the citizens of the United States, and staying committed to what we all bargained for in a treaty. So there's things that we recognize, you know, huckleberries, for instance. I'm going to utilize huckleberries because we all love huckleberries. And one of the things is that we notice that huckleberries are smaller now. They're not as prevalent, and there's less of them. A lot of the areas are drying out due to the change in climate. And for us, you know, as Natitawit, or human beings, we can migrate. We can, oh, it's hot over here, there's no water, we're going to go over here where there's water. Well, if you're a plant, you can't just move like that. The migration is a slow process. Moving from the mountaintop where you're at to the other side, or to areas where there's water, is a long process to do that. And in the meantime, you know, the threat of extinction, the threat of all life lost based on whatever that plant is, or whatever that species is now in jeopardy. And so we recognize those things. So we want to raise the attention of saying, hey, partner, United States of America, we need to do some things about these. Could be huckleberries, it could be salmon. We know salmon are a lot more monitored, and you know, the Snake River salmon are the most monitored and adjudicated. Our judicial courts have you know, we've been in the courts the most about this species, these ESA listed species in the Snake River, more than any place in the world. And the issues around dams, there are issues around, you know, what dams do to the water without free flowing water, you know, the predation that's happening there, the warming of the water, and the migration patterns. Those are all big things for us. And so we look at, well, what can we do about it? And so when we you know, try to develop energy so that, you know, we have our own microgrids. We have, you know, each household, we want to have their own microgrid. All of our priorities of senior citizen center, the wastewater treatment facility, the health facility, our youth facilities, ensure that they're all on microgrids, that they all have solar, that they all have battery storage. And so we're trying to do the things that we can, and we want to walk the walk, you know, of what we're saying and what we're speaking to, and to defend. We need to be able to defend for those that cannot defend themselves, or those that went silent, those that can't speak for themselves. We have to speak for them. And so we do these things for those purposes. And We continue to have negotiations and conversations with the federal government. Our rescission of the Resilient Columbia Basin Agreement, which was a reaffirming our treaty rights under the Biden administration, that called for several actions, which several of them are still in place. The tribal circumstances analysis that was done by the Department of Interior that talks about the impacts to tribes on the Columbia River system of operations. The NOAA rebuilding report that calls for breaching of the 4 lower Snake River dams. The state of Washington is doing studies for replacement of irrigation, transportation, and energy. Those 3 things are major things that have happened and are transforming the new picture and what it looks like. And so those things won't go away. And the studies that Washington State is doing is going to draw a lot clearer picture. And so, we're doing what we can. We're doing everything that we can to support the land itself and our obligation, but we need help. We need help from the people of the United States of America. We need help to speak the truth. And that's what we're after, is just to share the truth. I can walk into any room and I can tell you what I said here last year. I can tell you what I said in Orcas Island. I can tell you what I said in Washington, D.C., because it's always the truth. And that's what's easy to remember. It's easy to say. And it's what we have that comes out of our heart. We let things come into our heart first, the words. We let them come up into our mind to become reason. And that's how we can stay connected, from our mind to our heart. And we're wired together like that. I'd like to share a clip, if we could, one more clip with you. I know I'm getting close to my time, but I would definitely like to share that. If you could bring up the clip, please.
Kawako nocht, kusich ki zichen, kuchelachik sich, nun ama noch die awa, dat ze ochna, nun ama no kanma. Kawako het miepne sich nun am tamalwet, aka an sich ki zichen, sausa kijk ki wates pa wakipa, uyet pa.
This is our story, our obligation to those that inhabited these lands and waters long before human beings. This relationship must continue by making the necessary changes now so that this ancient covenant can endure forever. So that is the ending of the covenant of the Salmon people. And people ask, my friend Nakia and his son Siwas, who are on the horses there, the Sikkums, wow, you guys are good actors. Like, we're not acting here. This is who we are. And so, those words at the end, that Siwas, he's a fluent Nez Perce speaker, are powerful, to understand that our voices of our ancestors echo through the hills and through the mountains and through the trees and in the wind, for us to be able to hear those yet. And we hear them for not us. We hear them so that we can carry this message on for those yet to come. Because we only borrow this space. We don't own this space. The space belongs to the next 7 generations. It's theirs. And what we do to the land, we do to ourselves. And so we have to keep that in mind as we think about the future generations, your children, your grandchildren you will never know. But they will remember who you are if you take the right steps and the necessary steps to change what their place is going to be. So I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you all for being here and being a wonderful audience. I'd like to thank the speakers before me, Tyler. I thought he had a lot of energy. And thank Amy and the Sun Valley Forum for allowing me to be here today, sharing with you our story and the work that we're doing and the commitment that we have, not only to each other, but to the land itself, to the more ancient people, the rocks, the trees, the animal people that are here, and then us. Katsiaya.